Hey, you ever wonder how the pyramids were made? I mean, look at these suckers. Large and in charge. I feel especially qualified to speak on this subject to you today because I live in Idaho, home to some of the most marvelous architecture in the world. Or agriculture or something, I can't remember. I've also been to college, so I have a degree in something. Anyways, let's break down the mystery of the pyramids. First of all, let's get this out of the way. There's no way human beings could have made that all on their own. They didn't have cranes or forklifts. They had simple machines, but those are like simple. Too simple, if you ask me. But what they also had was geometry. The triangle was invented in 7000 BC. The shape totally exploded onto the scene and quickly became the fan favorite of things like sandwiches, mountains, pine trees. It really changed the game, but it wasn't until 3D movies came out that we realized we can combine the triangles to make a pyramid. Or a cone if you bend it in a certain way. With the vision finally coming together, the Egyptians began seeking out the perfect material. They tried stacking bundles of hay, but a wolf or something blew it over, so they attempted the same shape but with sticks. Plot twist, a wolf blew it over. Eventually, they landed on bricks, but bricks like the size of cars. Keep in mind that at this point we're at about 6000 BC. After spending about 500 years solely on carving out the bricks from a quarry several miles away from the construction site, they tried to use donkeys to pull them, but of course one donkey wasn't enough, so they found out that the perfect ratio was about 30 donkeys per brick. Once the bricks were at the site, the Egyptians were stumped. Problemo time. How could they possibly lift the bricks to stack them on top of each other? Planet Fitness wouldn't come around for quite a while, so they weren't properly yoked for the job. They did have hundreds of thousands of slaves, but they weren't super inclined to building large structures. Luckily, aliens had been watching the Egyptians for quite some time and were pretty invested in this particular build, so they dropped in to offer their tractor beam technology. With space tech, the job went very quickly from here. But once the work was complete, the aliens felt a little entitled, and they claimed that since they did all the heavy lifting, that they should get to take it back to their home planet. So they used their tractor beams to pick up the whole pyramid, and they flew it off into space, never to be seen again. So basically, the Egyptians were back to square one. Okay, so what they did was they took their copper tools that they had available and mined out some more stones. It's kind of boring, but they circled back to the simple machines and slaves ideas, and they kind of just started stacking blocks from there. Now, this required a lot of time, planning, and unfortunately lives. But eventually, they got some pretty sweet looking pyramids plopped right in the heart of Giza or wherever they were. But that's just how they were made. The real mystery is why they were made. You see, it's common knowledge that within the pyramids, the mummies of important figures were laid to rest. The Egyptians believed that once a person dies, they enter the afterlife. But the afterlife is like this big corn maze where you have no idea where you're going. So they came up with this brilliant idea of placing hypocephaly underneath the head of the corpse, which acts almost like a map to guide them from point A, the underworld, to point B, Valhalla, or whatever they call their heaven. And that's all well and good, but here's the catch. None of them ever made it. The pyramid was supposed to act as a beacon to help the lost souls find their way, but it only drove them deeper into hell. And it's not just the Egyptians, it's all of us. We die and we wake up in a maze and we think we're following the light to the finish line, but really we're being lured like prey of an anglerfish deeper and deeper into the chasms of hell, where there is only darkness, and with every step we take we remember less and less of our lives on earth, and we're alone and we're afraid, and we just push deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until we're all the way up to our necks in rotting flesh and blood that boils.
And pulls at us until we fall further and further down like a sinkhole of never-ending suffering.
So thank you so much for joining me today on Letters to Mothman. I hope that you were able to learn something from this educational video. I know I learned a lot when I was doing some research. So yeah, hit like and subscribe if you want to follow me on this journey of uncovering some of the hidden secrets of the universe. And I'll talk to you next time.